Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn People Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. Today we have another fun episode for you guys. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host here, Mr. Dom Fisher. How are you on this Sunday evening?
I'm doing real groovy. I got a little kink in my neck from somehow I slept like a zombie. I don't know. But I woke up and I wasn't feeling great, but I feel great now, so I'm good.
I'm pretty tired. Family came back from the family vacation Saturday. We came back. I drove 6 hours. Oh my God. I'll tell you what, as you get, like, when I was, in your early 20s, I used to drive from Tennessee to Pennsylvania like nothing. 10, 11 hours like nothing. If I drive more than an hour now, I don't I'm over it. You know what I mean? Thursday we're going to go see Mission Impossible. And when we hit the theaters, it's all the way out in Franklin, which is like a 45-minute drive. Yeah. And that to me feels like the longest time of my entire existence. You know what I mean? So that to me already is kind of rough. But we do have a fun show for you guys this week. We're going to talk the Dune 2 trailer, which I literally just watched like 5 minutes ago for the first time. We share our thoughts on James Gunn's casting of Lois and Clark. We share our half-year top 10 movie rankings. Very excited to see where we're at on both of those. And then, of course, we're going to end it with a little bit of watch recommendations. And then we have a fun segment this week that we're going to add this each and every week. We're going to give you our random rankings of something. Today's is going to be top 5 fast food burgers. Don came up with the idea. We are on the cusp of 4th of July, so that's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm excited to see where Dom has the it was hard. It was hard coming up with 5 really good ones. So it'll be definitely interesting to see where we go with that. But we'll kick it off with our trailer of the week. Denis Villeneuve is releasing Dune 2. Apparently, they're already talking about doing Dune 3 or whatever the chatter was this week. But Denis and Warner Brothers this week released the trailer for Dune 2. Dom, what did you think of the trailer?
So at first I wouldn't say the word is underwhelmed, but I was like, oh man, I expected it to pick up a little bit. It's still a little bit of this methodical type of storytelling till that second half of the trailer. You're like, oh, it's about to get real. And they already had a top tier cast. They've added to that cast, and you're like, okay, it's gonna be really hard for this movie not to be good. Like I enjoyed the part 1, and I will say, like, a buddy of mine, he said, he enjoyed it, but he couldn't enjoy it fully because it wasn't a complete story. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good point, because it was a part 1, but this part 2, it looks like it could be like the blockbuster that should be like we should be watching this next month. But it looks really good.
Yeah, so as somebody that absolutely thought the first one was boring, dreadful, and just all of those things, I was pretty impressed with the trailer. It definitely has a lot more intensity to it. It definitely has more action. I think there was more action in that trailer than there was in all of the first one combined. And I understood that. You get the idea of the first one's part 1, but man, this one does look good. Of course, you add my boy to the mix, Austin Butler, coming in with the ball, looking a little aggressive with the knife over there on Timothée Chalamet. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, this probably is going to be in the top contender of the hottest movie of the attractiveness is through the roof. Yeah. You know what I mean? You've got people across the board that be looking fantastic. You know what I'm saying? You can't knock that at all. But it definitely. I'm walking into it very cautiously optimistic. The first one kind of didn't really blow me away. I'm excited about it. I love these big blockbusters. I've never read the book, so I can't compete with that knowledge of anything like that, but very, very excited about it. I did like the trailer. It's so aesthetically pleasing. The first one, the first one, I thought it was boring as hell, but man, it was gorgeous. The score was amazing. The production, all of it was amazing. It just,
It's definitely one of those movies that you have to experience in theaters. You can watch it at home, and you're gonna like it, but it really is shot to the scale and size that you need to see it on IMAX. I tried to start reading the book, but I mean, it's it's like this big, and I was like, okay, that's why there's a part one and a part two, because it's like 700 pages or more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely one of those things that's interesting. Whenever you look at that style of book, it's like it's so big, like it's so intimidating. As somebody that's not a book reader, it's very intimidating. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like,
and especially with like, a world where you're not familiar with like the planets. The names are always going to be kind of different. Now, the names are a little like Paul, cool, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But there's going to be names that are going to be difficult to remember, and
yeah.
why things are happening. So it's like one of those ones where um
I
I think
mean, just for instance, like Austin Butler's name is Fide Routhy Harkonnen. I don't Harkin. I don't know. Like Princess Irulan Carino is going to be Florence Pugh. I forgot Florence Pugh's in the movie.
yeah, I think she
Christopher
shaved her head
Walken.
for the movie.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like Paul is like the only like kind of normal name we. But you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I feel, and that's not like
No,
Denis'
it's not.
fault. I mean, that's
No.
whoever wrote, like, the author of the book. Like, he made these names up, and I get it. It's supposed to be in the future, so I guess names change that much in the future. I don't know. Hopefully, Dom is still around in the future. Like,
Exactly. So, I mean, that is hitting theaters on November 3rd, November 3rd, which is that's not that far away. I mean, as I've noticed, 2023 has flown off the
yeah,
rails. But I do like getting blockbusters at the end of the year,
yeah,
though.
that's
You
true.
know what I
That's
mean?
true.
I do. Like we get them obviously now, and well, we've gotten blockbusters that hit theaters, whether they've been good or not. Watch last week's episode of us talking about Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
and if you missed that, don't go back and watch that one. That was a good episode, our first episode. But all right, time to transition into the biggest thing that happened this week in the world of news.
All right, news of the week in the world of the new DCU, James Gunn's DCU. We now have our Clark Kent, our Lois Lane, and David Corenswet. I hope I said that right. And Rachel Brosnahan. How you feel about this news?
You know, I'm not. I don't like. I'm happy. Bronson to me, she's more known for me, obviously for the marvelous Miss Maisel. For for Cornswell, I'm not familiar with. I was looking at things that I've seen him in. Obviously, he was in last year's Pearl. I do
Yeah.
remember that. He was in We Own the City, which I was a huge fan of that show on HBO, but I don't really know him. And I do remember him from Hollywood. Was a big fan of Hollywood too, the Netflix TV show. Um, I'm happy they went this route with the idea of getting two fresh faces that haven't really been in this world,
Right.
and it's I'm wait and see. Like anytime I've ever seen like ever the first time I ever remember like a casting happening and being like, oh my god, it's gonna be horrible was when Heath Ledger was cast as Joker. I was like, this is like the worst idea ever. And then of course we all saw how that turned out. So
Right.
I'm very optimistic now. I was very cautiously optimistic even about Robert Pattinson, even though I knew he could act. I think he's a hell of an actor. I wasn't sure how he'd be as Batman, and he turned out really well. Um, I think I like James Gunn. I think that this reset needs to be a hard reset. Like I can't
Yeah.
believe we still have two more movies coming out of this past structure that is going to be something like I mean Aquaman. I just God, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But I'm excited. It's we know it's here, so it's like I'm ready for it to be this part to be over, just so we can focus on that phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, at the end of the day, like I'm excited that James Gunn is pulling into two actors that aren't in his bubble. You know what I mean? They're not really in his bubble of those people that he loves to put in his movies. Like he likes, there's nothing wrong with that Gunn putting same people in his movies, but he doesn't make all of them like the central focal point of his films. Like taking David and Rachel and putting them in this role. I'm excited to see what they'll do as Clark and Lois. It's definitely going to be a new ride. And if I mean, I'm James Gunn's done some great stuff so far. So if he's blown away by these two, I can't imagine that they won't blow us away on the screen as well. So, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think like what you said, we're kind of getting what we were talking about before, as we get fresh faces. Like we know
Yeah,
them, or we know Rachel. Like a lot of people know Rachel. David's a little more new. But I will say I looked up his height. He's 6'4", so he fits the stature of like a Superman. And then Rachel Brosnahan. I mean, I love the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I think she fits well with within the Lois character because she's kind of got this fast talking, smooth, poise, like she has the like her personality fits a journalist. Um, and it seems like whatever she does, she's like the most confident person in the room. So it does seem like she's going to be a great fit. I did see something about that. She was hesitant about the decision, which is understandable because stepping into like a huge role and knowing that the fandoms are very like crazy sometimes, especially when it comes to the Batman world and the Superman world. If you don't hit it
true.
right, they're after you for years. But like you said, James Gunn, there's certain people that come along and they just have the formula. Kevin Feige's got it over at Marvel, and we've seen whenever James Gunn gets behind the helm, like with Peacemaker. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it seemed like that DC fans are in good hands. But yeah, we have to wait and see. Once we get a confirmed like villain and who plays that villain, I think that's when I'll be able to go, yeah, this is gonna be good.
Now, what did you think of the possible rumors of either Bill or Alexander Skarsgård potentially playing um what is his name?
What's he gonna play?
Oh God, who played? What did Jesse Eisenberg play? What was that?
Oh, Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Yeah. What were your thoughts on one of the Skarsgård brothers potentially playing Lois Lane?
I like both of them. I just don't know who you pick because he has to be bald. And now I do know that like um Bill is more of like the menacing, scary one, and then his brother is more of like he kind of gives off more of the like I'm rich vibe. So maybe
Yeah.
you go with oh no.
It's hard, but see, because the thing about it is like I always felt Bill would have been a great Joker because
Yeah,
of what he did with it. Like I felt like Bill would, or he would be great as like a menace, or man, he would be a great Riddler. Holy shit!
yeah.
I just thought about that, but yeah, I'm for it. These guys, those two, like that family, like the
Yeah.
acting family. You know what I mean? They can
Yeah.
act. You know what I mean? And that's what makes these movies stand out when you watch them. You want good acting, you know what I mean? And like you have to have it. You have to. And I'm sorry, but for this to be James Gunn's first film in DC, like first true film, he
Yeah.
needs to hit a home run.
And
So
I think he took complete control of this one, right? Like he's directing it, writing it.
wrote it, and writing
Yeah.
and directing it. Yeah, so this is going to be the first one, and I'm excited because, and you know what? And a message to all the haters out there, to the Zack Snyder fans, to the Henry Cavill fans, to all that, like, get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to, like, I understand you have this world, but like let James Gunn build his world and
Yeah.
just watch it, enjoy it. And half of them will probably watch it anyway. You know what I
Yeah. I
mean?
mean,
Have them complain.
it's just like picking a new James Bond. Like
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. Let them do what they do, and then
Let
like
them cook. You know
you
what I
can
mean?
judge after the fact, And if
And
they
if it
need some more
sucks, don't worry.
season,
We'll let you.
yeah,
If it sucks, it sucks. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It is what it is. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't mean to, I don't want the Zack Snyder folks to come after us. We're only 2 episodes into this
right.
podcast before they cancel us, but it'd be interesting. I'm excited about it. But yeah, that was the news of the week. Let's transition over to quote unquote movie reviews here. All right, folks. This week, instead of doing a movie review, we are going to talk about our top 10 movies of the first half of the year. Next week's show, we will be talking about the big Mission Impossible. Very, very excited about that. Dom and I are, as we said earlier in the show, seeing that a little bit early on Thursday. I'm excited to dive in the world of Tom Cruise. Lots of good things are being said about it. A lot of mixed reviews as well.
Yeah.
I've seen some mixed reviews. Some talking about the length, and I'm already tired. But that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to share our top 10 movies of the year so far. And we're going to do actual things that have been released. I mentioned that I'm off the air. I had 4 films in my top 10 that are not released yet. So can't talk about those quite well. They're in my top 10 if you follow me on Letterboxd. But we're going to talk about the top 10 movies that are out already. Dom, I'm going to let you hit me with your 10 through 6.
All right. Now this was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Um,
Yep.
and I know there's a few big ones I really want to see that I just haven't got around to seeing yet. And a lot more like of these bigger films because for me, like Ricky as well, like when we like a movie, it doesn't have to always be like these art house films. But there are going to be some art house films. So my number 10 is Fast X.
Hell
Had
yeah.
had to have it in my top 10. Number 9 is You Hurt My Feelings. That was a very surprising film for me. 8 is probably the most obscure. Is Infinity Pool. I had to watch it another time. I was like, you know what? I finally get it. Number 7 is Evil Dead Rise, and then my number 6, just because of the emotional hits and it was a fun time, is Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I still need to watch Evil Dead Rise. I haven't watched it. I know it's on like Peacock, I think it is, or Paramount. What
Yeah,
are
one
those
of the
two
two.
streaming platforms? Funny enough, you mentioned a film that's in my number 10 slot, and that's Infinity Pool. Movie I saw back at Sundance. I really like it. It's twisted.
Yeah,
It's not a film that I would recommend watching to a lot of people.
right.
I would have to understand your palate taste of saying, hey, this is what I want you to watch. But speaking of Mia Goth, hi. And then, of course, Alexander Skarsgård's in that too. But coming in at number 9 for me is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Loved the film. Very heartfelt, sweet, emotional. Loved it so, so, so much. Very, very good film. Number 8, I've got to Fast X myself. I've got to, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Jason
for
Momoa
sure.
gives a banger of a performance. A banger of a performance that I really loved. Number 7, The Blackening.
I did like The Blackening.
A film that I struggled. I was like, I cannot not have this on here. Like that was just. It came down to it just not having it on here. I had that at number 7. Number 6, I've got Flamin' Hot. A movie I absolutely adored. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I even propped it up the hat behind me on top of, Ghostface back there. But yeah, number 6, Flamin' Hot. What is your 5 through 1?
All right, 5 through 1. Okay, number 5, I got Scream 6. I had to have it on my list. I love the movie so
Banger.
much. I've literally watched since it's been, I think, Paramount. I think I've watched it like 2 or 3 times. Then I have the surprise for me, and not because I didn't think it was going to be good. I just didn't think it was going to hit this hard. Is Creed 3, and then I have one that I mentioned last week, which is Monica. Just the storytelling is so done so well. And number 2, have Air. That movie is still stuck in my head since the screening. It's so good. And then my number 1 is Across the Spider Verse.
Yeah.
It's a great. I mean, and like I said before, I used to avoid animated films so much, but the storytelling, and I think what it was, I think I figured it out, is that they were always so child driven. But now that the stories are more, the more adult, the more there's more details, it's more critical, and then as Guillermo del Toro said, that it's a medium. It's not for kids. It's a medium, and I started to kind of change the way I look at these animated films, and you know what? He's right. He is right.
One day I'll watch it. It's funny. We had 2 films in the top 5 of the same. Coming in at number 5 is Creed 3. Phenomenal film. There's several shots in that movie that are still stuck in my head. Like one shot of Adonis and Majors and Michael B. Jordan as they walk out and they look at each other and they can't see each other. It's through the
Yeah.
wall, and it's one of the most breathtaking shots of the year. It's really a stunning film, all the way around. And I don't want number 4, Air. Same. I didn't expect to. I expected to like that movie. I expected to like it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I do.
Right.
And like it's one of those films I struggled with my top 4, like top actually, sorry, not top 4, in my 2, 3, 4 slot. Like these are all interchangeable. Like the top 2, 3, 4. 3s, You Hurt My Feelings. I felt like that script was so strong, and it's such a great acted. It's just one of those well-rounded films that people are gonna forget about for no reason, and then you'll watch it one day and be like, "Oh shit, this was really that good," type of thing. You know what I mean? And number 2 for me is Rye Lane. Um, Rye Lane is an absolutely incredible romantic comedy. An hour and 22 minutes. Rain Allen Miller directed the hell out of this film. Nathan Byron and Tom Alea wrote the script. David Johnson, Vivian Opera, fantastic. Like film is great. It's on Hulu if you have not seen it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It would be number 1 if it wasn't for the film that I talked about last week, the film that I need Dom to see because I promise you it would be in the top 5, and that's Past Lives. Celine Song's just poetic and just gorgeous, stunning. Greta Lee's performance, Tia Yao's performance, John Magaro's performance. I think about that film every single fucking day. It's one of the best films of this decade. I am still astonished by what that film does. I need to see it again. I wish a theater close to me that's not 45 minutes away would play the film, or a film. Or, never mind. But I need it. I need it again. I need it. I need to cry again, because that's apparently what I love to do in these movies. But it was incredible. I was looking through my movies. Like, there's a couple of them that I just want to, like 1001. I want to shout that out. That was a really incredibly well made film. Love Scream 6. Huge Scream 6 fan. Tetris almost made my list. How to Blow Up a Pipeline. That movie was incredible. The Covenant was really good. I like that quite a bit.
I was trying to squeeze in Steel before, but I got about halfway through. But it's really good so far.
Yeah, and then Blackberry I thought was fine. I didn't love Blackberry as much as everybody else did. Sorry. One that I struggled not putting on my list was Elemental, and I know you didn't like that film. But
Yeah,
you're like, oh,
nah. No, it is unfortunate though for like Past Lives, where when I do go see it, I do gotta drive like 35, 40 minutes to go see it, because
it was
it's
supposed to open wide, and I'm like,
it's just not playing. It's playing. It seems like now it's just playing your art house theaters and AMC, and not playing in any Regal theaters.
Oh, it's playing in Upper Mills.
Is it?
Apparently so. I just looked.
I checked on Friday. It wasn't there. Maybe I didn't look for the day. What day are you looking at?
I was looking today.
What? Ain't that a bitch?
I was looking for it because I really want to see it again. Like, really, really want to see it again. And I might go see it Tuesday now. Oh man, maybe we should go see. No, never mind. I forgot. I was gonna say we could see it before Mission Impossible, but I forgot Mission Impossible is 7 hours long. So
right, I do see it. Ain't that? I swear it wasn't there the other day.
I'm with you. As I've been looking for it, because I was hoping Providence would get it, but I knew that would be a shot in the dark. But now that I know Upper Mills got it, I might have to go. I need to revisit it because you're right. I don't have to go to the little art house theater that we love so dearly. It has the most uncomfortable seats in the world, and I don't want to drive all the way to AMC, especially twice in 1 week. You know.
You know what? And I do want to real quick pose a question to everybody. When you go to a theater that doesn't have updated reclining seats, did we all just get bigger, or were the seats always like us sitting on top of each other because I never realized how long my arms were until I started going back to the theater, and I was like, "Did I always have this like this less room? Like I thought when I was younger, wasn't a problem, but now I'm like, yo, like which one of us get this armrest? Because we're fighting. I don't know. I don't know, man. It wasn't a
Oh
thing
no!
before.
Oh, hold on. Let me just stop and tell a funny story here real quick. Dom and I went and saw No Hard Feelings. Okay, in a rather, I'd say, let's just say 15% theater that was full. Let's just say 50, and that might be generous 15%. Okay, and Dom and I actually bought tickets on the same row. We didn't even know we were. We just knew we were going. We didn't know
Right.
that our seats were like literally two people apart. The movie's getting ready to start, and these people sit at the end of the row. Right before the movie starts, they come over and say, "Hey, these are our seats." And they were like, and I was sitting in one of their seats because we were just sitting separate from each other because we didn't want to sit on top of each other. And again, mind you, this entire row was wide open except for these two spots. Okay. The entire row. They sat right in between Dom and I. It was Dom, me. The entire, like, come on. Like, the
Yeah.
entire row was empty. Like, who buys tickets sitting right next to somebody
Yeah.
when you see the chart? Like, it's not like it was before. You
Right.
can see the chart, you see where people are sitting.
I
And
didn't
I
think
don't
about
know
that.
what
Yep.
this says, but man, I agree with this 100%. But I was like, my goodness, like,
Not to
guys, like,
mention that one screening of Black Phone, and we were sitting kind of apart, but it got packed, and it was like me, you, my uncle, and somebody else, and we're all like,
like, what are we doing here, guys? Like,
"Oh yeah, it's scary, not really."
more scared about putting my arms down than I
You're
was the
right.
movie. Oh man, good times, good times, good times. But man, like, be that, at least with Black Phone, the theater was packed.
Yeah, yeah, it's
This
true.
movie had 10% of the people. Like, it was just, it was awful. It was awful. All right, let's transition over to our watch recommendations of the week.
So, our watch recommendations: one movie, one series, and I'm happy to report that I found two great picks this week. I thought I had some in the chamber already, and I got to watching this week, and I was like, "Oh, I have to change my list." So I'll go first. My film, and this goes back to animation, is Nomona on Netflix. When I first saw like images of it, I didn't see a trailer, but I saw some images and I was like, I don't know, maybe not. But then I watched, I think part of like an interview, and I was like, let me give it a shot. It's fucking phenomenal. I was pleasantly surprised. It's one of those ones where you're gonna see it as you're scrolling on Netflix. You'll see it trending, and you're probably gonna be like, but I promise you, you will not regret watching this movie, especially when it gets towards the end. Oh my god! And then for my show, now this is a show that I'm recommending because of the potential. Because I've only seen about half of the series so far, but it is on Amazon Prime, and it is I Am a Virgo. Dude, it's so. It's like if I had to compare it, I would say like you take like the kind of obscure awkwardness of like Atlanta, and then like there was a movie that came out that Lena Waithe did a couple years ago on Hulu that's like something about hair. I don't know if it was bad hair or something. It's it's like kind of sci-fi and kind of I don't know how to describe it honestly, but it is really good. It's really refreshing. It feels new, and a lot of the cast you're gonna recognize. So that's gonna be your first draw. But I don't know where that show is gonna end. But I know every episode, I just want to skip to the end because I want to know so bad what this thing is that they're mentioning. Um, and then all your questions you have going forward of like, how much does he eat? What happens if a giant tries to have sex with a normal size person? There's all these things that are like sprinkled in there that makes the show a lot of fun. It's kind of dark. It's hilarious. It's got heart. It's probably gonna be one of the best shows of the year.
Yeah, I watched the first episode, was very, very intrigued, and I want to go back to it when I have some time. It's definitely different, definitely unique, not something that's it looks good. Like it looks like it could be a very good. And in a day and age where you're getting a lot of remakes, rehashes, and stuff like that, it's nice to see original stuff
Yeah.
come on the TV. My recommendation on the movie, I'm going to put quotations movie, okay? And it's a movie. I'm going to mention a stand-up special. Tom Segura's Sledgehammer drops on Tuesday on Netflix. Probably it's in my top 3 specials of the year. Okay. Number 1, if anybody's asking what number 1 is, Matt Rife. Matt Stephen Rife is the name of the special, I think it was. That's my
Yeah.
number 1 of the year. I thought that was incredible. Still think it's incredible. I've watched it like 5 times. Dude's hilarious.
Yep.
But Segura's Sledgehammer, pretty damn close. It's pretty damn close. It's really good. He is hilarious. That we're going to have to do a show on comedy, stand-up comedy one day, just because we both love it so much.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic special. He drives home the points of one thing and one thing only, and that is being on that stage and making you laugh. He's one of the best at intertwining jokes from earlier in the special to the middle of the special to the end of the special. I love when comedians do that because that means they're just intertwining. I love when comedians have new material, when they talk about their kids. Segura has some, what some might say, cross the line jokes, and I say are laugh out loud hilarious jokes about his kids in this special. Fantastic special, drops on Tuesday. I don't know if I can say much more. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say it's great yet, but you didn't hear that from me. But TV show. I don't know if I talked about this or not last week. I know I mentioned Shrinking last week, but did I mention Hijack? Did I talk about Hijack? I don't think I talked about Hijack. Well, I'm going to recommend it. Hijack is a brand new show. It's a plane that goes from Dubai to London is hijacked over a 7-hour flight while authorities on the ground scramble for answers. The show stars Idris Elba in the lead role. Incredible. First 2 episodes dropped last week. Episode 3 drops on Wednesday. I feel bad for anybody that has to just sit back and watch each episode. I had to binge watch it in like 2 days. It's incredible. I loved it. I can't tell you how much I loved it enough. Idris Elba is incredible. The intensity, it's crazy. It's fantastic. Apple TV is one of the best in the game at TV shows. And watch Hijack.
And people, like, we all know Idris Elba has always been great. You go back to the beginning of his career, it's always been great. But he got bullied out of playing James Bond. Y'all got to stop doing that shit, man. I understand, like, there's certain things you think you don't want. But that's the thing. You think you don't want it. And then if you would have got it, you'd have been like, oh, shit, I was fucking wrong. Because who else can you really see playing James Bond other than Idris Elba right now? Nobody. Like, they're going to bring in somebody that you probably don't know because y'all made him back out. And it's real messed up. I'm really sad about that because after Daniel Craig, he is a great James Bond, but we're never gonna get it now.
Yeah, Elba is one of the most like underrated, consistent every performance. I mean, he was in Extraction 2 for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I can't wait for Extraction 3 because I know he's going to be in more. And it's just like I love him. And one thing I forgot to mention that I really loved watching this week, and I forgot to add it until I just saw it. But I watched it was Muscle and Mayhem: The Unauthorized Story of the American Gladiators on Netflix, 5-part documentary series. Phenomenal.
Is it? I saw it. I was like, I'm gonna put it on my list, but I haven't watched it yet.
So good. Like if you were a fan of American Gladiators, this gives you all the nitty-gritty details of everything. All of the gladiators are on talking about it. Some of the old contestants are on talking about it. The producers. Fantastic. I've loved it. I loved every minute of it. But all right, folks, we're going to wrap it up with a segment that we're looking forward to. I don't have a fancy schmancy graphic design for it yet. I was on vacation. Fire me. But we are going to talk about In honor of the upcoming 4th of July, we are going to rank our top 5 fast food burgers. So before we do that, if you are listening at home, if you're listening to podcasts, whatever, hit up Dom and I on Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to hit us up on. Dom's at King_Fish. I'm at Ricky Blair _ either or. If there's something that you want us to rank on a show weekly, hit us up. We'll add it to our list. We're very, very excited to do this. We just figured we have a fun little way to end the show each and every week. This week we'll do fast food burgers. Next week, who knows what we'll do? I mean, maybe next week we'll do strip clubs. Who knows what we will do, guys? But, that being said, all right. So, Dom, this is how we're going to do it. 5, 4, 3. I want you to give me 5, 4, 3, and then I'll give you my 5, 4, 3, and then we'll talk about 2 and 1. We'll see how close ours intertwine.
Right.
It's going to be interesting. So just fast food, folks. Fast food only. So don't yell at us.
Yeah, and you know what? And I know this number 5 is going to be controversial to people, but it's one of those ones where when you want it, and nothing beats it at that moment, especially if it's real late at night. Crystals is my 5. I know. It's like Waffle House during the day, but when you want it, it hits the spot. My number 4 is Wendy's. Can't go wrong with a Baconator. And my 3 is a place that is slept on because they keep on slowly dying out, but it's Fat Mo's.
That's a good one.
They specialize in burgers, and I've never had a bad Fat Mo's burger.
I ain't mad about that one. I'm not mad at that one. I'm mad at the Crystals. Very mad at the Crystals. I'm very mad at the Crystals, but not mad at the other 2 choices. Coming at number 5, I got Shake Shack. I really enjoy Shake Shack's burger. I think it's fantastic. I do think that sometimes I try to not let, in this particular rating, I try not to let my ranking be clouded by the sides and the shakes and stuff that you can get, because sometimes that can enhance the burger. That reason alone, number 4, it's the Whopper. To me personally, that is what you were like with Crystals. I kind of felt nasty putting the Whopper on here, but it's like, it's good. Ron says Crystals is the bomb. No, it's not. Fun story about Crystals real quick before we move on. I was in a Crystals eating competition once at the Tennessee State Fair. I won the first round. Now, what they tell you is you win, you move on to the next round. What they don't tell you is they put you on a big stage, and they brought in a eating champion to take on the quote-unquote winners from throughout the fair. So we're on the stage. This guy's eating like 50 Crystals burgers while I'm over here like struggling to eat my 5. You know what I mean? Man, Crystals is not the bomb. But my number 3, judge me if you want, it's the classic Big Mac. It's fantastic. I don't care. It's good. I eat one, I don't eat them that much. I eat it once or twice a year. When I eat it, it's on point. Somebody that used to work at McDonald's, this guy did. What you do is you get the Big Mac made, but you get it made with the quarter pounder patties instead of the hamburger patties, and it's even better, guys. Just throwing out there, a little throwback knowledge of my days at McDonald's. But all right, I need to know what your 2 and 1 are.
All right, so my number 2, it was kind of hard because this place does most burgers well, but there's 2 that I always go back and forth. So Hardee's Frisco burger or the Monster burger. I don't know which one to pick, but I know that I don't know if Hardee's is slow sometimes, or I maintain the illusion that it's slower because they're making my stuff fresh, but I love it. All right. And my number 1 is, they don't really have a name for any of their burgers because you build them yourself, but Five Guys, I know my go-to is I get the regular with the 2 patties, cheese, bacon, grilled onions, lettuce, tomato, barbecue sauce. That's my go-to every time I go. I don't think I've had anything else but that, but it's so fire. And of course, like you said, the fries only add to it, but the burger is fire. And every time I get it, I'm gonna eat it and I'm gonna take a nap. That's probably bad, but it's delicious. Okay.
My number two is In-N-Out Burger. I love it. I look forward to eating it. I can't get it all the time. Sadly, there's an In-N-Out supposedly coming here in like 2024,
Yep.
which really breaks my heart because I don't want to eat it all the time. I just want it when I go to Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Number one's Five Guys too. Period. It's
Yep.
look. Like I said, I try not to let it. And Ron agrees. You know, if we'll give him. I know what he meant. Five Guys does rule,
Yep.
but I try again. You try not to cloud it because of the fries. But there's nothing better than the burger, fry, fountain drink, or you can even love five. All right, maybe phrasing there, my guy. Maybe Fraser. Phrasing is interesting. But honestly, you could even get a shake there. You know what I mean? They have shakes at some of them. Not all of them have shakes. It's like a secret. Oh, don't get me wrong. It's gonna set you back like $20 damn dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Five Guys is expensive. It's worth it though. I love Five Guys. But quickly recap, Dom. I'm gonna share this one on social media. Give me your 5 through 1 more time.
Crystals, your Baconator, your Fat Moe's, your Frisco / Monster Burger from Hardee's, and then Five Guys.
My number 5 was the Shake Shack burger. Number 4, Whopper. Number 3, the Big Mac. 2, In-N-Out's burger, and then of course number 1's Five Guys as well. Man, I just want a Five Guys burger now. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just want a Five Guys burger now.
And part of the reason why I make this list is because burgers, they do kind of represent America, especially when it comes to the 4th of July. But like especially if you're somebody who's like single, or hell, maybe you just don't grill out, you weren't invited to anybody's barbecue, and know what? I want one of these fire ass fast food burgers, and some of these you can't go wrong with.
No, you can't. No, for real. No, like you can't. I mean, I'll tell you what. There's one that I was trying to remember. They don't make it anymore, but Burger King used to have it was an A1 Steakhouse burger.
Yeah, I do remember.
And it was like A1 sauce. I think it was like crispy onions.
Yep.
And some other stuff, and then of course the burger patty. That was really, really good. I just didn't know they just don't.
I remember that specifically because I remember I was going to a comedy show, my buddy Mike, and I was eating it on the way there, and I spilled the barbecue sauce on my pants, and I was wearing like khaki pants, and it was just like, oh, that's cool. That's just I'm gonna look like that weird guy, and it is what it is. You go to Zany's, you just go, I'm drunk and I spilled food. I didn't come in like
exactly. Yeah, man, it was a good burger. It was a good burger. I don't know why they got rid of it. Was there anything that you almost had on your list that didn't make the cut?
If I haven't eaten McDonald's in probably a decade, but if I was, it would have been a Quarter Pounder. Yeah. That was always my go-to, man. Like something about it was just like home,
It's a thick ass burger compared to you know what I mean? That's a big burger. It's definitely a big burger. So, all right, folks. Like I said, next week we'll be back every Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be here talking movies. Next week we are going to definitely be talking about Mission Impossible. That will be on the radar for us next week. Very, very excited about that. And of course, whatever news, trailer and stuff breaks out. And then of course, whatever we decide to randomly rank next week, it'll be fun. We'll figure it out between now and then. But Dom, give us a plug where they can find you on the old social media. Well, as long as Twitter's still alive, you know what I mean?
Right.
I still can't get on Blue Sky yet, so I'm not cool enough for Blue Sky.
Yeah, I kept hearing about that. I didn't know what it was until like yesterday.
And you can't even get on until you have an invite. And then somebody gave me an invite code, and now I can't get on because they said that they're having issues with the amount of people jumping on their website. I'm just yeah.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at king_fish, Instagram at the Dom Fisher. And you can always find me on anything that is Geek Vibes Nation related. Type it in anywhere. I'm somewhere on there. Have been for years.
Exactly. Just type in Dom Fisher Geek Vibes and the man pops up. You can follow me on all social media at Ricky Viller _. We'll have some stuff soon. We'll have some popcorn people podcast stuff popping up soon. You know what I mean? You never know. But thank you guys so much for listening, tuning
For
in, and all that good
sure.
stuff. And we'll be back next week.
Next